Good evening, everyone. We'll just kick off the session tonight. And today is going to be a workshop session and sort of like a Q&A as well. So if you have any questions or you need assistance with your framework, you can just signify by either raising your hand and then I'll just basically call your name. And if you do have any questions as well relating to the framework or QA in general, you can also ask, and the question would be answered to the best of my ability. And I don't know, I don't think we have any other QA mentor in our midst tonight. But if Mr. Deji does come along and I'm not able to answer your question, I'll just let him answer instead. But yeah, we can kick off the session now. How far have we gone with the last training video? Is everyone all up to date? Do you need any help? I know a couple of people did reach out to me and I was able to help them. But if you do require more assistance, you can obviously raise up your hand now. And has anyone actually started testing using the test environment within your group as well? Has anyone started doing that? It'd be good if you can also respond by unmuting. But we have Tolu's hand up. Hi, Tolu.
Hi, Hyoyin. Hi, guys. I'm still having issue with my framework, though I'm almost done, but it got stuck at some point. And I had seek help, but I think it's just I watched the videos over and over again, but still struggling with it.
Okay, you can share your screen.
Thank you.
Sharing your screen, I'm just going to ask the question again. Has anyone started, has anyone created a separate framework and actually started sort of testing with your test environment within your group?
Yeah, I've tested the test environment of my group, but I haven't started on the features yet.
Oh, that's good.
This is my. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So I got stuck. I think was it? Yeah. Okay. I think yeah.
Where is your resources?
So save there.
Yeah, I know I know someone was going to make this mistake, and I sort of mentioned it at the start. Your resources should be under tests, not SRC. So can you drag that resource folder into test?
Okay.
Click on refactor. And then if you double click on the resources, okay, right. Can you open up your test runner and then your POM file as well? Okay, and then your POM file. Right. And I gave a solution to the area currently having in the last training that we had. So can you tell me what the solution I recommended was?
If I knew the solution, I won't be stuck here. I don't know. I can't remember.
Can anyone point it out to Tolu, please?
Go to let me see your screen. I'll go to official registration. Click on that. No, up here.
Okay.
On that official registration.
This one?
Yeah. Edit configurations, yeah. Oh, change that glue. What's your step defs? Okay, write step defs in that glue. Glue.
Glue,
Yeah, in
glue.
that glue. This glue, yeah. No. Glue, the second one, yeah.
Glue.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right step defs.
lookups.
Step defs. Yeah. The way it was written here.
Okay.
And then come down.
So where?
Come down. Down. Oh yeah, okay. Click on that minus to delete that build. Yeah, remove. Then add. Click on plus. Then go to build project. Yeah. Then apply. And then press OK.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Can you try to run the feature file now? Okay, can we see your step definition?
Which one is step definition? This. Okay. So where shall I go from here?
Can we see your step definition that you've written?
It's not opening. I'm trying to open it. Don't click on it.
Electorally is the registration step def.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Right, so your step definition is incomplete. You've not specified the WebDriver and you've not created a constructor as well. And you've not also specified if you want to use the WebDriver manager. You've not specified the URL you want the WebDriver to open. So nothing is going to happen. So you need to work on your step definition.
I think you are.
Sorry?
So what do I do? What should I do from here? What should I do?
I just said what you need to do. You need to create the constructor. You need to specify the WebDriver. You need to specify the URL you want the WebDriver to navigate to. And all of that is in the last couple of videos that was shared. So you need to watch the video.
Thank you. I'll go back to the video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anyone else need any assistance or any question in any of the videos that you've watched?
Please, just a quick one. Do we have a what's it called now? A text, like a textbook, a recommended textbook for automation?
Do you mean for the, so there's no recommended textbook for automation, but I do know like for manual testing, there is a textbook. For automation, there's no recommended textbooks, just like open sources online. And I've collated a couple of links that I sent into the group chat a while back. Like just free resources that are online that you can obviously read up on like the different aspect of Selenium, locators. I think that I can't remember what that link I put in that document, but everything is in the group chat. I think I referred to it the last time I posted something in the group chat. So yeah, there's the recommended textbook basically.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, George.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
Yeah, Wayne, I have a few questions. I'm not going to share my screen, but I have a few questions concerning the framework that we are working on it.
Okay.
So yes, I was asking, I have a 30-minute interview today, but I was asking a lot of questions about the frameworks. It was like, it wasn't just to run it, but it was a lot of questions behind that thing. So I just want to share a few of them and understand as well, because I don't know the answer, to be honest. I even tried to find out, but yeah. I just wanted to understand, when someone asks you the structure of your framework, how do you gonna explain the person, please?
Okay, when someone is asking you about the structure of your framework, they are wanting
Yes,
to
please.
know, are you using JUnit? Are you using TestNG? Are you just using the Cucumber feature to run your test? Do you have, what programming language are you using? Do you have like Selenium inside of your framework? Like, do you have it? Are you using Selenium? Is it a Selenium-based project you're working on? I think that's just what they basically just want to know. And the structure of your framework as well. We're going to be looking at something called page object. Are you using page object to gather all your locators together? So in the last class, we had our locators inside of our step definition. We're going to be moving the locators out of the step definition into another folder called page object. And it's always good to have your locators inside your page object, because it basically shows that you know what you're doing and you sort of understand what page object is all about. So those are like the sort of things they want to know when they ask you about the structure of your project.
Okay. And another one, when you set up your pom.xml, and you got at the last line is like line 9, you got snapshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the importance of that, please?
Right. Okay. I'm just going to open up my project now. Just a minute. So the snapshot is, how do I explain this? So I know that Kwame talked about GitHub, and GitHub is sort of like a version control tool. But if you don't want to use GitHub, or if you don't use GitHub within your company, you can use something called Azure. And Azure, I know you use Azure DevOps for like your manual testing stuff, but there's also CI/CD in Azure, which is obviously used to like sort of store your code, and you can also use Azure to also run the different versions of your of the changes you've made into your pack as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to share my screen. Yeah. So on line 9, so this is where you're talking about the snapshots, right? So in Azure, so when you have like different versions of your code changes in Azure, your developer or you yourself, the automation testers, you guys can decide to increase the snapshot. So this snapshot can go from 1.1 to 1.0 to 1.1. And the 1.1 basically shows that there has been some certain changes made into the pack. So the pack is like the automation pack itself. There's been some certain changes made into the pack. So if you want to run maybe you want to run based on like the latest change, then you obviously pick the latest snapshots to use instead. Or there could be a case of you implementing the API automation pack into the UI automation pack. So right now, the framework that we currently have is a UI automation pack, but there can be a point where you want to implement some of the API automation pack into your UI one. So the way you can do that is using the snapshot of the API automation pack. So in your POM file, you can have another dependency here that has the snapshots for only the API packs. And that snapshot can also be increased or decreased as well based on the version of the API pack you want to use. So the snapshot is just sort of, I wouldn't call it, it's like a version control as well, but it's just basically picking up the right version of code you want to run within your pack. So that's what the snapshot is just all about. I'm not sure if that's
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know if anyone have a question, but if I want to ask, I'll ask a lot. I ask me, but I don't want to.
So if you don't have a lot of questions today, I was looking to go through or like continue on the automation page we're trying to automate, and then maybe probably look at a negative test as well. But if we want to keep looking into our projects, if anybody has got like any issues or any question, you can just ask. And maybe by 9 o'clock to 9:30, we can look into the automation, or maybe by 9:30 to 10, we can look into the automation of the page again. It just depends on people respond in the group, or I just don't want the group to be quiet. Any other question, or does anyone need any help?
Hi, Yui.
Hi.
I need the help, but I've reached out to my group and they are willing to help me. That's why I'm a bit quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got stuck long ago. I tried to share my screen the last class, but I guess a lot of people are sharing. I couldn't share at the end of the day. So I've reached out, and Ganiat is gonna help me on Sunday.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah.
No worries. Does anyone else need help?
Hello, Anya.
Hi.
I just wanted to say thank you to you and Ganiad for your help today.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome. Is anyone up to date up onto the last training that we had?
Yeah, but it remains to write the codes for the yes or no.
Okay, that's good.
Mm.
Yes, up to date till even the yes or no. And like, I just have a question based on what we are working on presently. So like we've got the first name, we've got the last name. Let's assume we put the email address in the first name. Will it still come up with the information, and is that part of the test? You know, like sometimes there are some field that maybe there is restriction that it should not accept a special character, and like at is a special character. Can we use that as part of the test? And but like in this case, you know, is not, that's not part of the requirement, but can we still do that?
Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat yourself again. I lost you at some point.
You know, like for the column now, is
Okay.
name.
Let me open up the website. Is that okay?
No, it's all right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is the website.
Okay, this is the website. You understand? And like name is always alphabet, A to Z. So let's assume I now put number just to test if the field will accept it. So can we do that? You know, like it's not part of the requirement now, but is it what one can try just to test? Is this field working very well?
Okay, so I think it depends on what the PO, the BAs, and the dev have, well, it based on what the PO and the BAs have sort of decided on. So if they've decided to put like a criteria for the first name field, and the first name should only contain letters, then it's going to be specified in the acceptance criteria. But if there is no specification of such in the acceptance criteria, then I don't think you need to test for the first name field. But I do know, like in the email, there is always sort of criteria for like the email field. So, and it's obviously going to be specified in the acceptance criteria as well. So in that case, you would have to specifically test to ensure that the email field basically takes up a valid email. And you would also test to make sure that if you put an invalid email, that email is not accepted. It should come up with an error, or it should not even go through. Obviously, if you submit the form or the page, or you are clicking on login, the page should not go through at all. So in cases where criteria are needed in the field, it is usually going to be specified in the acceptance criteria, and you need to test for the specific things when you're carrying out your manual and automation testing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions? So if nobody has a question for me, I do have a question for you guys. And I'm also going to put it in the chat as well. So my question goes thus: when you create a bug and you assign it to a developer, and developer comes back to you to say that it's not a genuine bug, how would you approach that situation?
I would first of all, if I finish my testing, I need to attach a screenshot. So I think with that screenshot, I should be able to prove to the developer that the test passed in my own environment, because sometimes a test might pass in my environment and then it doesn't pass in developer's environment. So with the screenshot, it should prove that it has passed in my own environment.
You mean it has not passed because it's a bug? So you're raising something that is not working. But I get what you mean. But I think you made a mistake in what you were saying. So you're attaching a screenshot to show that the test is not working as expected, but the dev is coming back to say that it is working. So the screenshot is going to show as an evidence to the dev, and that's a good approach. Well, that's one of the approach, and that's a good one. So what else can you do? Yes, George.
Yeah, I think I'll try to at a meeting with the developer to run together on that particular feature to find, so you can also see as well.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said again, please?
I'm saying I think I will try to arrange a meeting with the developer and run through the test together with him or her, so you can see the error as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. But when you're answering questions like that, you shouldn't say I think, you should say I will create. So because that could be an interview question and you don't want to say I think. I think would sort of will be passing across to the other person that, or maybe you're sort of doubting yourself. So I'll probably answer the question with I will, not I think. Do you get what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another good approach. So what else can be done?
Okay, when you say, okay, let me just say this. Like, because it is a team, not just me, and we need to be objective. Sometimes talking about bug, it can be subjective. There are some things that, to me, may be something important, but like to other member of the team, it can be something we can still, like is not fundamental to the operation of the, functionality of the software. So I'll bring it to the team, then we look at it objectively. Then, like the BA will be there, the Scrum Masters, then the developer, then we'll look at it together as a team. So then we agree on how to go further about that. Thank you.
Yep, that's a good one as well. So does anyone else want to add any other thing?
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Dorcas.
Yeah, I was thinking because you said that the developer came back. I've raised the bug, and the developer actually came back to me saying it's not a bug. So I would do a retest on it to be sure that the mistake is not from my side. And I would see if it passes or not. Then what I would do is to come together to the team. If it passes, then obviously I will fix the bug. If not, then I would have to come together, call a team meeting with the Scrum Masters and explain the situation to them. So we all, as a team, they too can now call the other team members for us to come together, just like Emmanuel said, and agree on it. Is it a showstopper? If it's not, then we can see, okay, we can move on from there and probably put it back into check if we have to. Yeah, I think that's what I would have to do.
Yeah, that's also a good one. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that responded. No answer was wrong, but I prefer Dorcas's response. So the dev said it's not a genuine bug. So I would obviously go back and read the acceptance criteria again, carry out a retest. And if it's not a bug eventually, then all you need to do is basically maybe add your comment back on the ticket and let the dev know that, oh, you probably made a mistake from your end, and you can see that it's not a bug and you've retested and everything is fine now. But if it happens to be a bug, the first thing I'll probably suggest you do is to probably have a call with a dev, like one of your colleagues has suggested. You have a call with a dev, and then you obviously show him screenshots, or you can even rerun the test again in front of him. So you see, so you can tell him or show him where you're getting the error. And then if he then sees that it's a bug, then he can either, obviously, the ticket now needs to be maybe like triaged or maybe discussed further with like the Scrum Master, just to know when the dev can then pick up that bug to get it fixed. And if it's possible to obviously be worked on within the sprint as well, because it obviously needs to be maybe like resized and all the other jazz that needs to be done. And yeah, then you can then go on to fix it. But I'll usually probably recommend that you speak to the dev to show him what you found out, if it's a bug. And then afterwards, you can then maybe move to the Scrum Master. And obviously, it can be discussed within like your stand-up as well, maybe like an extended stand-up call that maybe when you've all given your update, you can then, the Scrum Master obviously bring you up if the Scrum Master is aware of the ticket, or the dev and the QA can mention it to the Scrum Master, then just to let them know that, oh, we found a bug, and just looking to get you like discuss further with you, the Scrum Master, just to know if it can be picked up within the sprint and all and all and all. So yeah, that's just sort of how I would suggest the situation should be approached. So I hope that sort of explains it to everyone. Sorry?
I said, yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, that's fine. Yeah. Right, so does anyone have any question for me or need any assistance? Like the group is just a bit quiet. I don't want to assume everyone is like up to date. I'm just going to assume everyone is up to date until the last class or still looking at the video from the last training session.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
I was just wondering, when do we start doing the Git bit? When do we start like putting when we're writing the code and then storing it on, how do I put the question? So when do we start using the Git, the version control thing, basically?
So you can start using your version control when, even before you start writing your feature files, so that every time you make changes at the end of each maybe training, you just push all of your changes into GitHub. And I think my laptop is already automatically connected to my GitHub account. So I just need to sort of push my own changes to GitHub. I need to double check about that. Or maybe I need to reconfigure for the project I'm currently working on. I probably need to reconfigure, but yeah, everyone should start pushing all the new changes you're making to your pack, to your GitHub account.
So thank you for that answer. So would there be another like a workshop to show us exactly? I know Kwame already did that. It was like an intensive one. However, I was just wondering, is there going to be like a workshop like you do with us, where we could just follow what he's doing, or we have a video where we could see what he's doing and then follow through with it, and so that we can get confident, like you taking us to a confident place? Would that happen with Git as well?
Sorry, I know. I'm not sure, Dorcas. Were you the one that asked the same question in the meeting? Someone asked that question today.
No.
Okay. All right. So someone asked the same question in one of the stand-up that I attended today, right? So I like what Oyin said, because there are two things here, right? You need to know how Git works, which is brilliant, okay? But I would say Git is it's if you are not careful as a team and you are working with Git, actually, you can lose everything that you've done. It's very, very important. That's why for the internship, because it's a low level one, so we normally introduce you to Git, right? And then you're able to use it in your personal one, right? But because I know some people are still struggling with Selenium, they are still struggling with Cucumber, you don't even with Java, or there are a lot of moving parts, actually. For me, I would say that's why normally what we do as an internship is just to introduce you to this Git, and so that when you go for interview, you are able to talk about Git, right? Push, commit, and pull, all those things. Yeah. So once you know those things, I think that's sufficient for you to get a job for a start, because there are lots in CI/CD that I don't think we'll be able to cover within 3 months, actually, and where we are still doing the automation. So the focus now is for you to push your code into GitHub, right? So that the final aim of that is that you can put your GitHub repository onto your CV. That's what I'm looking at for you guys to do. So, but I think you're already in advance as well, Docker season, you've registered. So when you get into advanced, right, there's no how you're going to escape Git and CI/CD, because you are going to be working with the teams, and we're going to assume that you know it now, right? So you're going to be pushing your code into the repository, and there's other people that are more senior than you are, right, that will be reviewing your code and also making sure there's a gate and everything. So it's a lot in there, actually, which I think with the little time that we have, we won't be able to cover it, actually. So the least that we can do is to introduce you to it now, so that you know, this is what it does and this is how to do it. But if you want to know more, actually, advanced is the place, because Git is really, really advanced. Some developers still struggle with it, actually. So, and it's something that you will do like forever, actually. So, and it's one of, even in some roles, Git repository management is someone's job, actually, to resolve. I hope I did not throw sand into it anyway. Look like.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That explains it. So
Okay.
to clarify things, does that mean we'll have another class where, or is it just the one we've had that we just need to look through that video and have a better understanding of it? Or are we going to have another class where it would now show us how to use it properly?
I think for me, I don't think we need another video, right? Because I don't want people to get more confused, right? Where you're still trying to set up automation, right? That's what I found, right? When you focus on this CI/CD, people look into automation and think, oh, it's too difficult for me. It's like teaching a baby how to walk when they've not actually crawled. Do you get it now? The best thing, get automation framework, let it be tight. You've got everything sorted, and then after that, then we start to talk about CI/CD again anyway. But now I don't think, they've introduced you to it. It's really, whet your appetite about that, which is good, right? But now we'll leave it for now. Let's focus on automation, right? So, which I don't think we'll have enough time, because there's still a lot, unless Onyi tells me that she has finished everything anyway. So there's still a lot to do in terms of automation. So once we kind of cover that, then if you have time, we can come back into CI/CD.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, apologies. It's still your show. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Like Mr. Ade just said, you just need to know what Git is all about, how to use Git pull, Git push, Git commit. Like those are like the basic ones I knew as well before I started my job. Because there's more to Git as well, and I still get confused up until this very moment, and I do have to ask for help or do a lot of Googling. So just knowing the basics right now is totally fine for you to get a job and get into like a normal working environment. And then day to day, you still learn as you go along as well. So yeah.
Hello, just another question. I don't like jumping the gun. I just need for this, like the other time you were talking about our own, personal project that we are doing in our team. If we started using the automation, like now for the registration dot feature, this is just a page, like we are testing for valid course registration. Let's assume we've passed this now. Then we want to move to the next page. Let's assume the student want to fill in for something else. Are we going to write this scenario in another, maybe like under features? Are we creating something different from registration of feature, or we are going to write it under this feature, then maybe we'll cut this out? And so how do we go through the next step for our own project?
Right, okay. So assuming you've registered, I don't know if there's tutor registration, there's student registration. I'm guessing there's going to be something like that.
Yes.
So you've done the registration for a student, and then the next PBI you probably picked up is probably maybe a student trying to maybe update his or her record, like maybe just updating your home address or updating your phone number or something. So all you need to do next is you straight up, what do you need to do? You've already registered, but what do you need to do when you want to update any of your record? You need to navigate to the URL, log in. Then once you've logged in, you should either be directed to your student account, or you just need to click on the icon again, then you click on your student account. Then once you've clicked on the student account or you've gotten access to your student account, then you just need to like update your maybe the home address field or the telephone number field. So that's just what you need to do. You don't need to write the registration again, then trying to log in again. No. So once you've registered once, your details are already stored in a database. So that database, when you try to log in, your email address and password is going to show that you already exist in the database, and that's just going to be picked up when you're logging in. So when you want to do anything else, you just need to basically log in, then do what you need to do. You don't need to create the registration again. Does that answer your question, Emmanuel?
Yes, but like, so we are done with this step now. The next step, let's assume we need to write another scenario. So that's my question. So what do? We've done, let's assume we've done this, we've passed, everything is okay. Then the next step, are we creating another?
Okay, I get it now.
Yes, is there another project?
For registration feature. So usually when we are dealing with login, registration, or updating a record on my account, so because they are different features, I would always suggest that you create a separate feature file for them. So if you're going to be logging in now, if you want to test the login feature, you need to create a separate feature file. And you just need to start with giving a navigate to the URL. I click on the login, fill in my details, and I click on login button. If you want to update your student account, or you want to update your user account or something, so that is dealing with the updates feature. Obviously, you still need to log in, but I would suggest that you create a separate feature file that is going to be dealing with anything relating to updating of your user profile or your user account. So you need to create a separate feature file for that one. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So that means we can create as many as we need features.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's one of the yes.
There you
Thank you.
go. That's fine. Sorry.
Hi, Oyin.
Hi.
I was just wondering, still on that question. Thank you, Manuel, for that question. Could we possibly see a demonstration of it, please?
Yeah, we're gonna deal with that soon. Yes,
Okay.
we will. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any more questions? If we don't have any questions or no one needs any help before 9 o'clock, once it's 9 o'clock, we'll probably continue with the automation for the automation form page. And we'll do that probably up until like 10 to 10. Then I can then pick up any questions afterwards as well. But has anyone been able to try the locators just to know if they've been able to? Oh, yeah, someone did say he's been able to do it up until yes or no. So I'm guessing someone has been able to try.
Is it the one we did the last time?
Yes.
Yes, is okay.
Okay. Is anyone struggling to like find or navigate to the locator, or struggling with how to find the locators? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay, so we have just 2 more minutes, and I'm happy to answer any question before then. Hello, everyone. So we are going to continue on the automation of the automation form that we were doing in our last training class. And before I share my screen, I'm just going to try to open up the project I was using in the last class as well. Hopefully I can find that quickly. Take an option. Right, okay. So I believe this should be the project we were looking into. And we've gotten up to, and I select the right vegan option. So the next one is going to be, it's going to be entering the location, selecting the right option for career change, and the rest of the steps as well. So looking into our step definition, we are going to be going into, and I enter my location. So the URL we were using, like we've done previously, we need to inspect the web page, then click on the icon that says select. Okay, I'm just going to do it. So we basically right click, inspect, then you need to click on the icon that says select an element in the page to inspect it.
Oh, sorry, Oyin. Yeah. If you go to bluesky.com, right? Just go to, yeah. blueskycitadel.com. Yeah. Citadel.com, yeah. Then if you scroll down to the bottom, right, the form is attached, yeah, on the right. You see the word form, yeah.
Okay.
So even if you want to do, you can start from, yeah, navigate to Blue Sky, click on the form, yeah, and yeah.
So the thing is, I've not actually had the time to like find the automation script to scroll on the page.
Okay, I think it's possible that you don't need to, right? Some of them you don't need, you will just locate it. Let's try that. If not, then we can look at that later. Some of them we don't need, even though it's at the bottom of the page, right? It might not need to kind of scroll down, yeah. But if you, yeah, let's continue with what you're doing right now. I think we can look at this later. Yeah.
That's fine, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so going forward, we're going to be using this new URL. And like I mentioned in the last class, we tried automating without scrolling on the page, but it was not finding the elements. So, and today was not meant to be like a normal training session, it was just meant to be a workshop, but because we don't have a lot of people's packs or automation project to look at, so we're just going to have a training. So I didn't get a chance to look into this part, but for tonight we're going to be using this form. But by next week we'll be switching back to the form we currently have on the Blue Sky Scanner website. So I just wanted to put that out there. So going back to the form, so once you click on the icon, we are going to be inspecting the where are you located field, and that has been highlighted for us here. And what I'm going to do is I have two choices to make. I can either find the element by, I think I do have 4 choices to make. Like I mentioned, for locators, you can find your locator by ID, XPath, name. I think there was placeholder as well. So we can obviously look at the syntax. I don't know if anyone has taken time to look at the locator link I sent into the group chat just for like your own knowledge. So you can obviously look through the link, just like read through it. It's got a lot of information on it as well. You don't need to cram, you just need to basically understand. And the website has also given us like the syntax for the different locator types you want to use. So it makes your work even easier as well. So these are just the major locators that are used when you're automating. So if I move back to the URL, I can get locator by ID, by name, by XPath. And yeah, let's give that a try. So we can probably try using XPath. Yeah, let's try using XPath. And when you want to get your XPath, basically right click on the element that has already been highlighted for you. Click on copy and click on XPath. And I just want to make sure that my XPath is unique and it's going to be showing me 1 of 1. If it's showing me 1 of 2 or 1 of 3, that means I need to use a different type of locator. So if I want to bring up like a search field in the DOM, all I need to do is click on Ctrl F or Command F. And I'm going to be pasting what I've just copied. And this has given me, I've basically pasted in the XPath I've copied, and it's showing me 1 of 1. So I can obviously use this value I currently have. So I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to go back into my IntelliJ now. And since I've picked up the element for my location field, I'm going to have to tell from driver what to do next. And how do I do that? It needs to first find the element, then I need to tell it an action to perform. So I'm going to start with driver dot find element, the singular one, by, I'm going with XPath this time around. And I'm going to have to include a double quote, then paste the XPath I've just copied. And at the end of the bracket, I need to tell you an action to perform. So can someone tell me what action needs to be performed in here?
Send keys.
Thank you. So I want Chrome driver to send something into that field. So send keys. And I need to add a double quote as well. And I then need to specify the value of what I want to be sent. So I'm just going to put so that's the location field sorted. So now I'm going to move on to the next step, which is, and I select the right option for the carrier change question. So this is obviously a drop down. And the last time we dealt with a drop down was, are you vegan or vegetarian? And I think I showed us how to select using visible text and also by index as well. So I'm just going to check what type of selection we made the last time. So we went with select by index. So this time around, we're going to go with select by visible text. So before we do that, we obviously need to get the elements for the drop down. So all I need to do as usual, right click on the page, click on inspect, then click on the icon here, and then just go to what you want to inspect or get the element for. And in this case, it is this drop down. So I'm going to click on that drop down, and you can see it's already highlighted over here. And I also said that you need to ensure if you are going to be using this select, before you know what mechanism or what ways to inspect the element, you need to first of all make sure that you need to first of all have an idea of what the HTML tag is. So in this case, it is select that we have. So obviously we can use the select methods that we used the last time. But if it is div, assuming it is div that is here, we need to use a different approach. And I sort of talked about that in the last training as well. So in our case here, we have the select tag. So we're going to be using the select methods. So all I need to do is to obviously get the element for the drop down. Right click. Should we go with ID or name? Let's go with ID this time around. So I'm going to pick up the ID here and copy that. And I'm going to also make sure the ID is unique. Ooh. Now you can see this ID is not unique. It's showing me 1 of 3. And yep, it's showing me 1 of 3. So this is an example of you ensuring that the locator that you've used is unique. So I said I was going to go with ID, and I picked that up and I checked to ensure that it was going to give me a 1 of 1. I can see it's giving me 1 of 3. So in this case, I'm going to go with a different approach, which would be trying the different locators that I can use. So I'm going to go with XPath this time around. So let me right click on this and click on copy, and I'll go with XPath. So I need to also paste it here to make sure it's going to give me 1 of 1, which means it's unique. So let's give that a try. Okay. So this has given me 1 of 1. So I'm going to go with the XPath locator type this time around. So I've copied that already. And I'm going to go back into IntelliJ and write my code. Right. So we're using the select method, and I'm going to start with new select. And then I'm going to tell Chrome driver to first of all look for the element on the page by typing driver dot find element by XPath. Paste the XPath in here. And thereafter, I want it to perform an action. I want it to select something on the drop down for me. So last time we used select by index. So this time around, we're going to be using select by visible text. So visible text means, if you go back to the web page, visible text means I want you to select based on the different options that we have in the drop down. And I also said that if you are using select by visible text, you need to make sure the text here matches what you're going to be putting in IntelliJ also. So it needs to be the exact way it is written here. So how long have you been searching for career change since you applied? So I don't want to pick up the first option because it's already a default value. So I'm going to pick 6 months to 1 year. So I'm going to pick that value up, 6 months to 1 year. So let's type that up. Yeah, just gonna make sure I've written it the exact same way. 6 months to 1 year. Okay, good. So this is me using select by visible text. So now I've written the code for, and I enter my location and I select career change question. So before we go ahead with the next steps, I want to run my registration.feature file now to double check or to ensure that all of these values are going to be filled in for the last 2 questions. So let's give that a try. All right, click in here and click on run. Okay, that was not picked up. All the other ones were filled in. So let's have a look at what is happening. Okay. So you can see it failed on I select the right option for career choice. Cannot locate option with text 6 months to 1 year. Could it be that I did not type it properly? Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to pick up the value here, just the way it is written. And let's replace it with what I have here. It has the same thing. I'm going to give that a run again. And let's see what it comes up with. Oh, okay. That was filled in. So I'm not sure what difference. There was no difference in what I typed and what I copied as well. But yeah, I'd probably suggest that you just copy what is here exactly. Because I'm not sure there's no difference in what I copied and what I typed. But it looks like what I copied here just seems to work, because that is what is getting filled in here. So we're going to move on with the next one, which is favorite hobbies and interest. And okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do favorite hobbies and interests, then we run. Then I'm then going to do the checkbox, the first two checkbox, the checkbox, and then the, wait, I called this thing something the last time. So this is a checkbox and this is radio button, yeah. So we're going to do the radio button and the checkbox together. But we're going to do this one just on its own. So we're going to inspect the big field that we have here and get the elements for that. Okay. And right click, copy, export. Brilliant. So this is giving me 1 of 1. And I'm going to copy this one. Go back to my IntelliJ and go back to my step definition that needs to be filled. Driver, find element, by export. Dot send keys. Good. And I need to impute my hobbies and interest. So hobbies, good. And everything is within the double quote as well. So if I should take out the double quote by mistake, you can see it's showing me a red line. And obviously the reason why is because a double quote is missing. And IntelliJ is also suggesting the solution to you as well. Semicolon, oh, is that a comma? So a comma or bracket missing, but obviously should be closing double quote that should be there. So I'm going to run this now just to be sure that our field is going to be filled in. Brilliant. So that has been filled in. And next up is to select your course choice. So this one, we have a radio button, and radio button only accepts one value. So obviously I'm going to pick up software testing, and then what's your career progression? So I'm going to pick up 2 values here because it's a checkbox, and checkbox allows 1 or more options to be selected. So I'm going to pick up software testing, and I'm going to pick up developer. So that's just what I'm going to do for this part. So what do we need to do? We need to inspect the element for software testing. Just give me a minute. I just want to quickly drink water. Yep, so we're going to get the element for software testing. And there's also something you need to take note of as well. So let me close this one off. So there are some checkbox that you would probably, some radio buttons you will come across, where if you just click on the options itself, it basically selects the checkbox for you. There are some checkbox where you need to actually select on the radio button themselves. Sorry, why am I saying checkbox? But there are some radio buttons option that you actually do need to click on the radio button themselves before you're able to select on it. So that means that you selecting on software testing will not select the radio button. You need to click on the radio button. So this is where you trying your where your manual testing also comes in as well, because you obviously need to know how the website works before you eventually start automating. So I've obviously tried it, and I can see that if I click on Scrum Master, it's going to be ticked. If I click on the radio button for data analysis is going to be ticked. So me just finding the element for software testing and then telling Chrome driver to click on it basically shows that the radio button is going to be ticked or is going to be clicked on. So let us go back to inspecting. Click on software testing. And I'm going to get the XPath for this one. And let's see if the XPath is unique. Brilliant. So this is showing me 1 of 1. So while I'm trying to input my code, I want someone to tell me the difference between absolute XPath and relative XPath. Absolute XPath and relative XPath. We have 17 people on the call.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Absolute expert has 1 slash and relative has 2 slashes, I guess. I don't know, I'm not sure.
Absolute expert. Yeah, that's correct. But what else can also distinguish the absolute and relative expert again? So I mentioned 2 things in the last training that we had. The slash is correct.
Is it the HTML?
Yes. So now, which one has the HTML?
The HTML,
Absolute.
that's for absolute, yeah. That's absolute, yeah.
Good. Thank you. So which one are we meant to use when we are automating?
Relative.
Good. That's great. Thank you. So moving on, my next question. So I've declared the locator I want to use. So what do I need to tell Chrome driver to do next for the checkbox, for the radio button, sorry? What do I need to tell it to do?
I think it has to find the element first.
Yeah, I've already done that. I've done driver.find element by XPath, but I want to specify an action. What action?
Thank you.
Sorry?
Click.
Yes, click.
Yeah, dot click.
Click here.
Yep, very correct. So dot click, because it's not a field, it is a radio button that just needs to be clicked on. So the action I'm going to specify is dot click. So I'm going to do the one that talks about the career progression as well. And I mentioned that I want to click on the developer and the software testing. So now you can obviously see that if I click on business analysis, oh, that's clicking on it. Okay. So me inspecting the values themselves would obviously tick on the checkbox. So that's just what I'm going to try. Yeah. So I want to inspect developer. Yep, this one. And I'm going to get the XPath. One of one. Go back into my IntelliJ and go into the step definition. So I'm going to do driver dot find element by XPath. And I've pasted out the XPath. So what do I need Chrome driver to do again? What action should it perform for me?
Click.
Thank you. Click. Okay, so I've gotten the XPath for developer. Now I need to get the XPath for software testing. So that will be this one. One of one. Go back into IntelliJ. Driver dot find element by XPath. And I want it to click again. Okay, so we've done first choice, career progression. Now let's run and see if Chrome driver is going to tick on the radio buttons and the checkboxes for us. Brilliant. So software testing has been ticked. Developer and software testing under career progression has also been ticked as well. So now I'm going to do all of these three together. What days work best for you? I'm just going to pick Monday, Friday. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What time works best for you? How many options am I going to pick in here?
One option.
Good. I'm going to pick evening time. And what's your favorite music? Afrobeat. So let's quickly do this one. Okay, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to check if I click on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If I click on evening, that's getting picked. Afrobeat. Good. Now let's do Monday. So this is for Monday. Select the days.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry. In the case, if we want to use the driver.find elements, maybe if we want to join the code together, then we want to use driver.find elements. Sorry, please, how do we do it, please?
Is it the plural one?
Yes.
We'll be looking at that one later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So to prevent me from just typing every single time, I'm just going to duplicate this line 2 more times because I'm selecting 3 options for the days that work best for me. So I'm just going to duplicate them. I've duplicated them, but I need to change the XPath for the second and for the third. So I need to go back into my website to get the locators for Wednesday and Friday. So this is Wednesday. Just going to check that is 1 of 1. Go back to IntelliJ. And I'm going to change the locator for the second one. You can see obviously change from 1 to 3. I'm guessing this is 5. But I'm just going to double check by copying it. Okay, the one for Friday. This is Friday. One of 1. And this is 5. Good. So now I want to inspect the element for evening. Time that works best for you. Evening time. Copy XPath. One of 1. And I am going to look for the locator for Afrobeat. dot click. Okay, now let's try to run this one. Good. So that picked up software testing, developer software testing, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, evening, Afrobeat. And those were all the values that we specified in our automation pack. So now we're going to click on submit. So I need to inspect the element for submit. And after the form is submitted, I try this myself. After the form was submitted, then I then get another page that says, I think the form has been submitted or something. So we need to verify that we are getting something when the form has been submitted. So we're going to verify that the form has been submitted successfully. And in order to do that, we need to use what we call assertions. So before I go ahead of myself, let us first find the element for the submit. Then we can then look into assertions. Or yeah, we can just quickly look into assertions tonight because we're going to be using assertions a lot. Assertions. Okay, before I go ahead of myself, let me first get the element for submit. So we have submit. And let's use by name. Let's click on submit by using locator name. And that is one match. Go back into our code. When I click the submit button, find element by name. And what action are we going to tell Chrome driver to perform?
Click.
Thank you. Dot click. Right. So we're going to run this and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Then I'm then going to talk about assertions just briefly. Okay, so that was clicked on. And then we get a page that says, thanks for your interest. I will be in touch with you shortly. And we do have one more step in our feature file that says, then the form is submitted. Who can tell me what the then step is meant to do? Like, what is the then step meant to do? We talked about this when we were talking about Gherkin. We're talking about Gherkin syntax. Does anyone know? What does the then step signify?
Assertion.
Yes, so it signifies assertion, but what I was expecting is the then step is signifying the expected outcome. So, and how do you verify this expected outcome? You then need to use assertion. So this is where assertion comes in. So when you submit the form, what happens afterwards? Do we get a successful message? Do we get an error message? So the fact that we've used valid details inside all of the fields, and we filled in all the mandatory ones as well, our form is meant to be submitted successfully, and we're meant to get a successful message afterwards. But assuming you omit like the username, let me check which of the fields are mandatory. So assuming you omitted the first name or you omitted the email address, we can try that one now. So assuming we omit the email address and then we click on submit. Yep, you can see the page is not submitted, and then we are getting an error message on the email address field. So we can use an assertion here also to say that. So the way your negative test is going to work is your email address here is going to be and I enter and I omit the email address field. When I click the submit button, then the form is not submitted. And how do you verify that the form is not submitted? You need to assert that an error message is displayed on the email address field. So this is where assertion sort of comes in. And there are different types of assertion as well. There's assert true, assert false, assert equals, assert not null, assert not equals. So all of these assertions, if you understand what they are, you would know when to use them. And I'm going to be sending a resource into the group chat tonight about assertions. So it'd be good if you read what assertion is all about for your own knowledge. We're going to be using that. You would be using assertions a lot if you are going to be doing automation testing. You use assertions to verify different things that you need to verify, and on and on and on. So assertions is very important in automation testing, and to be good if you know the different types of assertions as well. There are things there's also something we call add assertion. There's something we call soft assertion as well. So yeah, so it'll be good if you know what these entail and when you're meant to use them also, because if you understand what the different types of assertions are, you would know when to use them within your code. It's just as simple as that. So yeah, so for tonight, we are going to be using, let me see. So there are two options we can use tonight based on the results we've gotten here. We can use assert true, or we can use assert equals. So the reason why I said we can use assert true or assert equals is because I know what they mean. So assert true compares the actual with the expected. And then assert equals compare actual with the expected. And assert true is basically verifying that something is present on the page. So assert true is going to be dealing with Boolean conditions. Boolean means true or false. And Boolean is also a type of Java data type as well, like string, like integer. So Boolean is also another type of Java data type. And it is used when you're trying to verify that something is true or false. So yeah. And the link I'm going to send tonight also shows us the syntax for all the different assertions, and it also explains them further as well. So I'm going to really encourage you to read up on the different type of assertions, basically. Right. So for tonight, we are just going to use asserts. Let me see. I'm just going to go for the simple one tonight. So we're going to use assert true. So we're going to try assert true tonight, and then we call it a night. Then I can answer your questions that you may have. Okay. So assert true. How do we use that, or how do we go on to write the code for our last step? So we have, then the form is submitted, and I need to verify that either this sentence is present on the page or it is visible on the page after clicking submit. So I obviously still need to inspect the element for the sentence or for the box, like this green box itself. Now pick that up. Yeah. So I'm going to use so like I mentioned, if I want to use assert true, I can either get the element for the green box itself or get the element for the sentence itself. So if I'm looking for the element for the sentence, I need to pick up this one. You can see it's only highlighting the thanks for your interest, blah, blah, blah. But if I want to get the element for the box, I'll need to go up and pick up this one. You can see the difference. But for tonight, I'm just going to pick the one that is taking up the sentence itself. So I'm going to right click on that, copy XPath. Then let's see how that XPath looks like. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. So we're going to use this XPath. Go back in here. And then, in order to use my assertion, I'm going to start with assert dot. You can see show me the different types of assertions. There's assert equals. There is assert true. There is assert, no, not assert fail, but there's fail. There is assert not null, assert is true, assert same. Just trying to check if there's a right assertion. Assert true. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to verify that the sentence is present on the page. I've gotten my XPath already and I've gotten that copied, but I've not pasted it yet. So I'm going to do driver dot find element by XPath, because I copied an XPath, paste it here. Now I want to verify that something is present on a page or it is visible on a page. So what action am I going to use? Or what action am I going to tell Chrome driver to perform?
It's displayed.
Thank you. Is displayed. So this is what our assertion is going to look like. This is what we call assert true. Whenever you're using assert true, it is 100% sure that the value that you have in here must be true. So if the value here is false, then your test here, if you're using assert true, your test is going to fail on this step. So you need to be absolutely sure that the value that you will get in this bracket is going to be true because you're using assert true. So now we are going to run this test. And then let's see what happens. I'm expecting everything, all the steps that we have in here to pass. Looking back into my code. Okay, that did not pass. Unable to locate element. So that wasn't able to find the element. Let us try using the element for the green triangle itself. Then let's see what happens. Let me change this one. I'm gonna try running it again. Let's see. That wasn't still picked up. Let me see the page again. That's interesting. Not sure why that is not getting picked up. Yeah, I'm gonna try something else now. I'm gonna try to put a breaking point here to see what value I'm gonna get within this main bracket. Instead of running, I'm gonna click on the bug. Okay, so it stopped at this breaking point, this break point, and you can see that it's selected it's submitted the form for me, but it's not actually verified this box just yet. So I'm gonna verify that the value here is true or false. Let's see what value is gonna come up. So it can either be true or it can just be an error. Oh, so that's true. Came up as true. Right. So I think I know what the issue is. So Chrome driver, you can see that this test ran in 1 minute, 8 seconds. So the reason why the test was failing when we ran it initially is probably because when you clicked on the submit button, maybe the page was not loading on time, and Chrome driver does not wait for no man unless you implement a wait within your code. But because we don't have any wait implemented, was just going as it was just trying to look for the element as soon as you clicked on that submit button, but that element was not present on the page. So that was why it failed or came up with a false. But because I added a debug point, that gave Chrome driver extra time to look for the element. So that was why it then passed. So I think in the next class, we'll probably look into wait. So we have something called wait, where you tell Chrome driver to like wait for either 2 seconds or 3 seconds or 5 seconds in order to find specific elements on the page, or in order for you to do a couple of other things as well on the page. But I want you to note that if I add a 3-second wait here, then that means our test would run for 1 minute, 11 seconds. Because as many wait as you add within your code, then the number of time it takes the test to run also increases. And I know there are some tests you can see that run for 8 minutes or 7 minutes. Any test that runs over 10 minutes, like that's just, I don't think it should be automated in the first place. Maybe you need to find a different mechanism to automate it. Maybe you need to use the API testing to do that instead, because your automation shouldn't take that long unless you need to break down the testing approach they are probably using in order to reduce the testing time also, because automation, because you cannot, in my work environment, we have a pack that has like an automation pack that has 600 tests in it. We have a pack that has 301 tests in it, and it runs for an hour, 10 minutes, and that is amazing. So if the test now runs for an hour or 2 hours, then we need to look into what is making that test run for that long, because the pack that has 301 tests, it will keep increasing. I've had a pack that has 600 tests and it runs in under 2 hours. That is good. You don't want your test pack to be running for ages or anything like that. The reason why you have automation pack is to make everything faster and easier. So I'm just going to stop talking for now and answer any question anyone has got. Do we have any questions?
Please, can you scroll up, please? Please. Up, please. Up.
Are you aware that?
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any question? Any questions?